Hi! Today in our virtual studio, we're going to be creating tie-dye foil prints. Stay tuned and I'll tell you exactly what you need and walk you through step by step. Let's get creating. Hi everyone, my name is Amber and I'm a program coordinator with Arts for Life at Brenner Children's Hospital. Welcome to our virtual art studio where we believe that art is for everyone. Today we're going to be making tie-dye foil prints. This technique can be used in a lot of different ways to make different kinds of art projects. I'm going to show you how to make this one, but you can also use this same technique to do full page pictures or to add designs to pictures that you've drawn, or to just create colorful background papers. We're going to talk about all of those today. Have you ever printed anything before? Printing can be done in many different ways. You may have seen it with paint or with ink, or maybe you've used a stamp before. That's also another kind of printing. I'm going to show you how to make your very own prints today using some simple art materials that you have around the house and a few things from your kitchen too. Here are the materials you're going to need. Some white paper. If you have cardstock that's a little bit thicker, that'll work great. If you just have regular paper though, that works good too. You might want a few sheets so you can try a few different pictures and a few different techniques. A black permanent marker, and we need it to be permanent because we're going to be using water and we don't want your picture to smear or to get messed up. If you don't have a permanent marker, you can also just use a regular old pen, blue or black, whichever color ink you have. Then you're going to need some washable markers in a bunch of different colors. That's what we're going to use to do the printing with. Some foil, and if you don't have foil, you can also use a plastic baggie. It'll do the same thing, but I'm going to show you how to do it using foil. And then a bowl of water. If you have a spray bottle that you want to use, that'll work, but a bowl of water works just fine. And some paper towels. That's it. All right, I'm going to move my camera and I'll show you how to get started. So you're going to start with a piece of white paper and your permanent marker. Remember, you want it to be permanent so that when it gets wet, it doesn't smear. If you don't have a permanent marker, you can also use a pen. Both things will work. Now you can draw whatever you would like as your picture on your paper. If you want to draw some sort of scene or landscape, maybe outer space or under the sea, you can use words like I did on this one. For this picture, I'm going to show you how to draw the flashlight. So we're going to start by drawing the top of the flashlight, which is shaped like a rectangle, like this. And then for the top of the flashlight is round like a circle, but when we turn it sideways, because we're looking at it from its side, it looks kind of like a flat oval. So that's what we're going to do for the top part, is make that flat oval. And then for the handle, it's another long rectangle shape. And then you can add some sort of switch if you would like to turn it on and off, whatever you'd like it to look like. And then we can add some detail to make our flashlight look rounded with some lines, or you can draw words or designs, whatever kind of flashlight you'd like to have. All right. Now, if you want, you can have some shapes or words or designs coming out of your flashlight. Again, this is completely up to you. This is your artwork. Add some different size hearts. So you're going to finish your picture with whatever else you'd like to have on it, whether it's a flashlight like mine or if it's something different. And then when you finish drawing with your permanent marker, you're going to set that off to the side and get a piece of foil. Now you want your foil to be about the same size as your piece of paper, just so you're not wasting it and you're not wasting space when you're coloring. And foil usually has two sides. One is really shiny and the other one's a little more dull. So we're going to use the side that looks a little more dull, just because the markers stick better to that color and that side of the paper. It's not as shiny. And we're going to take your washable color markers and use those to color on your foil. Now for this one, I want the rainbow colors of light to look like they're coming out of the flashlight. So I'm going to color them in a very specific pattern. But it doesn't have to be like that. If you want to put color all over, if you want to draw it in designs, if you just want to scribble, it doesn't have to be exact because you're going to print that onto your piece of white paper. So to make the colors coming out of the flashlight, I'm just going to color in lines. And it's easier to color with the side of your marker. If you have this kind of marker that has a pointed tip but then also has a flat side to it, the side gives you more space to apply color to your foil. If you color with a tip, it's going to take a long time. And you also want to be careful when you're coloring that you don't put your hands in it, or the ink is going to get printed onto your hands instead of your paper, which is where you really want it. So for this one, I'm going to do rainbow colors. And it's okay if they overlap each other. They'll just mix together. You can see this foil actually still has some color on it from the last one that I printed. And that's fine. And keep adding color. And if you notice in any spots that it looks like the color disappeared, the wetness in the marker causes the ink to kind of form little puddles and drops. So you can take your marker and put it back in that same color and spread it out again. But as soon as the paper gets wet, it's going to spread that color out for you. You just want to make sure you have all the colors on there that you want. All right. Now I'm going to slide my foil over. Now it's time to do the water. So you have your little bowl of water and get a clean paper towel. If this has any sort of ink or marker on it, when it gets wet, that's going to get on your picture. And you only want the colors that you made to get on your picture. So you're going to take your paper towel and just dip it in the water. You don't want it to be too drippy, so you can kind of blot it off on the side a little bit. And then we're just going to go gently across your picture, just like you would if it was a sponge, and tap all the way from side to side where you're going to put your color. If it's the whole picture, then you're going to want to get the whole piece of paper wet. This picture is only getting color on this particular part, so I don't have to worry about getting the whole piece of paper. So go back over, make sure that I got it nice and wet. And now I'm going to take my picture and flip it over onto my foil and press it down. And if you want, you can take your marker and use it to smooth it out and make sure all the color came in contact with your paper, nice and even. Then for the big reveal, you're going to peel it off. And there it is. Ta-da! And if you look at your picture and see a spot that didn't get color that you would like to have color, you can actually go back and do it again. Taking your wet paper towel, get that little spot wet. If you have color still on your foil, or if you need to add a little more, that's fine. And then press it down in that same spot. And yeah, it gets filled in. And there's the first print. And I had mentioned before, if you didn't have foil, you can also use a plastic bag. And that would be the exact same technique, just coloring on the plastic bag with the markers, getting your paper wet and printing it onto the paper the same way. Now I'm going to show you a few other ones and how you would do that. We can also just make printed color paper. So for this one, you're just going to take whichever colors you like, whether you want to use all of them or if you just want to use your favorites. And we're going to add color to the foil in any sort of pattern you'd like. And just keep adding that color. And again, make sure you're not setting your hand down or your hand's going to get printed color on it too. And we're going to move that to the side. And this time, we're just using a white sheet of paper. And again, we want to get a clean paper towel. Get some water, not too much. And get this paper wet all over. And then we're going to lay it on top of our foil. Smooth it out and press it down. And ta-da! Make a tie-dye print. And the nice thing about this foil is it's durable and we can actually keep reusing it so we don't have to waste any more. To clean it off, all you need is some water and a paper towel. And you're just going to wipe gently, and you can wipe that color right off. And before you use it again, you want to make sure it's nice and dry, because your color won't work if it's wet. And now this paper towel, you can see all the colors have mixed together on it, so we don't want to use that on one of our pictures, or we're going to get all that color onto our pictures. But now this foil is nice and clean and ready to go again, and we can make another picture with it. So there's lots of different ways to use this technique. I had mentioned you can use it for words. You can use it for scenes and landscapes. You can use it to make colors, like the tie-dye we just did. Or you can use it to add color to a very specific part of your picture. And one of the great things about this technique is it also works backwards. And when I say that, I mean you can do the printing first and then come back in with your marker and add your details or your designs. That's actually what I did in this landscape picture. Was I started by coloring on my foil and printing on the paper, and then I went back in and added details to it to make it look like a landscape of a mountain and a scene with some grass and a fence. So you can do it either way. That's one of the great things about this project is you can make it your own, and you can make it work for whatever project it is that you want to make. Or if you're making a project like the one we just did with the flashlight, when you finish printing it, if you want to go back and add some more details maybe, or add some words, you can do that too. You just want to make sure that your paper has dried all the way. You don't want to write on top of wet paper with a marker, or the paper might rip. It might make a hole in it. So you want to make sure it's completely dry before you draw on it again, if you've printed on it and gotten it wet with water. Well, I can't wait to see what you created today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Arts for Life Virtual Art Studio and creating with me today. I hope you had fun. Here's one of my finished tie-dye foil prints. Now yours might look different than mine, but remember, it's wonderful. And anything you created is an experience, and it's fun to just be engaged in art and to make something that wasn't there before. I hope you had fun learning something new and that you use this to create new things or to teach someone else how to have fun and get creative too. And remember, art is for everyone, so keep creating. I hope you come back to see us again soon. Bye!